Hello designers, you're welcome to another tutorial. So this is what the sleeve looks like. I'm going to separate it and I'll open it. This is what it will look like. For the front piece, I'm going to lay it down and then I'm going to cut the facing for it. I'll fold the fabric, put it underneath this, and then I'll make sure the stretchy part it aligns with the stretchy part of the dress. So the circumference part of the dress is stretchy, so I'll make sure the facing too is stretchy in that direction. I'll place it down, pin it down, and then cut out the neckline. I'll make sure the facing is on fold at that center front also. Now I'm going to cut the shoulder. The facing is going to be 3 inches wide. So after cutting the neckline and the shoulder, I'll remove this front piece. Then at the center front there, I'm going to measure 3 inches. I want it 3 inches wide. Then at the shoulder, I will also measure 3 inches and I'll draw a straight line. Your facing can be square, it can be curved, but I want mine curved. I'm going to fold the fabric again to get the back facing. So I'll take the back piece and place it on it. I'll get the same shape of neckline I have at the back. So I'll get my neckline and get the shoulder. I'll measure 3 inches again on the shoulder and I'll draw a straight line. At the center back there, I'll measure 3 inches from the neckline and draw a straight line. So like I said earlier, you can have it as a square, front and back, or you can curve front and back. So I'm going to curve mine. I'll measure the 3 inches all the way around the neckline and then use it to curve it and cut it out. And then that center back is now on fold, so I'll go ahead and slit the facing too because it must be the same shape for the back. Now I'm going to cut facing for the sleeve too. I'll fold the fabric into 2 again. I'll fold the sleeve into 2, then I'll place the sleeve on the fabric and I'll get the same shape I have on the sleeve. I'll make sure the fabric is a little bit longer than that slit. Remember, I used 7 inches as the length of that slit, so the facing can be around 9 or 10 inches. So I'm going to place it carefully and I'll pin it. I'm done with this facing, so this is what it looks like. I'm going to cut another one. I'm going to cut 2 of this facing. This is the back piece. I'm going to sew it by 1 inch at the center back, but then I'm going to measure my slits. I'll be using about 12 inches for the slit opening, so I'll mark that. So when I sew the 1 inch at the center back, I will stop there. I won't sew the slit part. Then after sewing the back, I'm going to open it. Let's assume I've sewn it. I'm going to open it this way. I'll take the front piece, place it on it. this way. I'll go ahead to sew the two together. I'll sew the two shoulders by 1/2 inch, and then I'll sew the side. So remember, I put just 1/2 inch seam allowance by the side, but when I'm sewing now, I'm going to sew 1 inch so that it can be fitted on the body. It won't be tight because it's stretchy. It won't be small. It will just be fitted on the body. Then the facing, this is how I'm going to join the facing. I'm going to open the front piece. The back piece, I'm going to sew it at the center back 1 inch because I'm sewing the original back. So let's assume I've sewn it. I will open it this way, place the front facing on it. I will place it right sides facing each other, and then I will sew the shoulders by 1/2 inch. Then the edge, I'll fold the edge round. So let's assume I've sewn the shoulder now. I'm going to fold the edge round on the wrong side. I won't sew the neckline part, or just the edge of the facing, front and back. I'll sew it round. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. The next thing I'm going to join is the sleeve. Before I join the facing to the sleeve, I'm going to fold the edge this way. I'll fold it on the wrong side 1/2 inch, and then I'll sew it down just to tidy that edge. Then after doing that, I'll open the sleeve and place the facing on it, right sides facing each other, and then I'm going to sew it from the hem into that triangle opening. I won't sew this side. So let me repeat what I'm going to do now. Two things that I'm going to do. I'll take the facing, fold the edge 1/2 inch, then place it on the sleeve, and then sew the hem and the triangle and back into the other hem. So I'll do the second one too, like that. This is the back. I've gone ahead to sew the center back by 1 inch, and then this is the slit. I've opened it. I've also sewn this side by 1 inch and sewn the shoulder by 1/2 inch. So this is what it looks like. I've also sewn the sleeve, and this is what it looks like. I'm going to notch the V part, then I'm going to turn it inside out. That edge, there's a way I folded that edge before turning it to give me a sharp edge. So I'm going to show you on the second sleeve how I turned that edge. You don't just turn like that. There's a way you fold the edge before you turn it. So I'm going to hem that down, or I'm going to use hemming gum to make sure it stays down. I'm talking about the facing now. I'm going to hem it down. I'm trying to see what the sleeve will look like. So the second sleeve, I'm going to turn it out. I'm going to notch that triangle part. The way I fold the edge, I will fold one part of the edge. This is a black fabric, so you might not see it well, but I'll fold one part of the edge, hold it down, then fold the second part of the edge to form an angle. I will use my finger to hold it down, then turn it. By the time I turn it, it gives me a sharp edge. This works all the time, and instead of using pin to be bringing it out, you don't need that. So you just fold the edge. Before you turn it, you fold one part of the edge, hold it down, then fold the second part of the edge to form like an angle. Use your finger to hold it down this way, then turn it. Don't release it until after you have turned it. It gives a perfect edge every time. I hope you are able to get it. After turning it, I'm going to fold it this way, and then I'll sew this side. I'll be using 1 inch to sew the side. I'll do the same for the second sleeve. For the facing, I've gone ahead to sew it, and this is what it looks like. That is the center back. I opened the seam, and then that is the edge that I've folded. I didn't sew the neckline like I said earlier. I only folded the edge round. I'm going to lay down the dress now, and then I'll place the facing on it. I want to use the facing to tidy the neckline now. I'm going to turn it inside out to the right side of the dress, right side of the facing on it, so right sides facing each other. I'll pin down the corners of the front neckline first, then I'll go to the back. I'll align the center back of the dress to the center back of the facing. The shoulders also, I'll align the shoulders of the dress to the shoulders of the facing. I'll make sure everything is well aligned. I'll pin it down, then I'll go ahead to sew it by 1/2 inch. Then I'll turn the facing inside when I'm done. This is my sleeve after sewing. I'll turn it inside out. I'm done sewing the facing. The corners of the front neckline, I'm going to notch it so that when I turn my facing, it's going to relax. So anywhere you have an angle shape, you have to notch it. And then I'll also notch the side a little bit. Then the back neckline, I'm going to notch it because it's curved, so I'm going to notch the back also so that I can relax. Then I'll turn it inside. I can go ahead to use my needle and thread to hem it down, or I'll use an hemming gum to hem it down. You can put interfacing on your facing depending on the type of fabric you are using. This fabric is thick a bit, so it's okay. But if your fabric is light, or you just feel you need structure on the neckline, you can go ahead and put your interfacing or stay. When you're measuring, you make sure that it's not the exact size of the person. For instance, if the bust of the person is 36, you make sure it's like 35 or 34 inches, so that when it stretches, it will be fitted on the body. That is how to go about stretchy fabric. You don't measure your exact measurement. You make it smaller than your measurement, maybe by 1 inch. For instance, if the hip is 40, you make it 39. Now I'm going to fix my sleeve. So I'll first of all align the sleeve on the side, then I'll get the middle of the sleeve. I'll put a notch. I'll fold the sleeve into 2 and put a notch so I can get the middle where I'm going to join to the shoulder of the dress. Then I'll pin it round, and I'll sew a 0.5 inch round the armhole. I'll do that for the 2 sleeves. After fixing the 2 sleeves, the last thing to do is to tidy the slits. I'll fold it twice, 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, and then sew it on the edge, the 2 sides of the slits. Then at the hem, I'm going to fold it 1/2 inch by 1 inch.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please kindly like, share, comment, subscribe if you're new here, and click the notification bell. Thank you.